The furry community is a community that most on the internet will be somewhat aware of. They have been around for a long time, but have become more popular in recent years, as well as more accepted. They're a pretty open community in which really the only requirement to be a furry is to like anthropomorphic characters. You don't necessarily have to be a fursuiter. You don't necessarily have to be an artist or a character creator. As long as you just have an interest in what furries bring to the table, then there you go. You're a furry. Though not everybody chooses to take the label of a furry, and I understand why. You see, I like drawing cute animals as much as the next person. I also thought Zootopia was an amazing movie and liked it a little more than I probably should have. I really like things that could classify as furry, but I don't openly identify as one or engage with the community. So this isn't a video of me acting defensive from the perspective of someone in the furry fandom. It's more of a critique of how the media portrays furries in certain circumstances and how it ties in LGBTQ issues and tries to undermine them. It's just something that I think is stupid and I want to comment on. The video in question is by Fox News. If you live in America and you're well aware of our divided two-party system, Fox News is a news outlet that often speaks on behalf of conservatives and their ideals. The conversation about furries in this video is extremely biased, misinformed, and politically charged. This specific host and character of this segment seems like he's there for the offensive factor. I don't think this is real journalism whatsoever, but it is mainstream media. I genuinely do not take anything this outlet says seriously, and I'm really only making this video for my own entertainment as well as to question some of the misinformation. So without further ado, I present to you a giant garbage fire of a video.
Should the rainbow have room for an animal costume? Yes, they got the hots for dressing up like mascots. I speak of furries, a group of people who dress up like anthropomorphic cartoon creatures. That was hard.
Anthropomorphic. 5 syllables. Yep, 5 syllables. You're not making a fool of anyone else, just yourself.
For their own gratification. Think of high school mascots, but there's no high school, yet still plenty of wedgies and body odor. Our audience is really confused. All right, so because they're always in costume, you may not know who a furry is. It could be anyone, perhaps someone you know. What's that slide doing there? Anyway, 70% of this furry fandom identify as LGBTQ, and 25% are gender diverse. 100% identify as sweaty. Many believe being accepted as a furry has helped them accept their sexuality and gender identity.
Bro is just throwing out random fucking numbers as far as the statistics. Also, like, throw a dog a bone. That's not a pun. Like, aside from just a study or something, show maybe some sort of article or quote to back yourself up.
And now activists are pushing for acceptance of furries to be part of Club Alphabet. As Pink News reports, furry isn't a sexuality or gender, but there is an overlap between the LGBTQ+ community and the furry fandom. If there's one thing to know about their community, it's that there is a beautiful breadth of creativity and inclusivity that has helped many to get to know themselves better. Well, think of all that inclusivity, then think of the dry cleaning.
Oh, okay, there we go. So you finally added some context. And it doesn't even support your argument. You're claiming that they want to be part of the acronyms for LGBTQ+, or they want to fall under the rainbow. But in that quote right there, the people that are advocating for acceptance are just showing that there's an overlap between people who are furries and people who belong to the LGBTQ community. It's subtle nuances like these that trick audiences, and the people behind these shows know it. Side note, if you don't watch Fox News and you don't know anyone in your life who watches Fox News, and you question who the fuck is eating this garbage up, there is a whole side of America that is eating this garbage up. I absolutely promise you there are people out there that had no idea what a furry was until the past few years, where it's become a thing to associate them with the left and LGBTQ identities, and they just fall into the demonization of all of this.
The co-founder of the International Research Project. I can't say that word.
Nobody can.
I don't think so. They say there's a... Biden can?
Here we go again. This time, Eyebrows gets an echoing voice that says nobody can say it. A simple 5-syllable word. And that's ironic because I'm convinced that entire room has a combined 5th grade reading level.
It's the one word he got. Now, they say there's a history of bullying faced by furries, especially when they're taken to get spayed or neutered. And while many deny there's anything sexual about dressing up like a giant fox, one 2019 study found almost all were driven by some degree of sexual motivation. Driven by some degree of sexual motivation. Sounds like my fan base.
Sir, this is a Wendy's. Like, actually, what was that with his tongue out and the finger gesture? Like, so fucking bizarre and weird. Like, this generally seems like it should be like an ironic sketch show. This doesn't seem like it's a real human that's being aired to real people. Secondly, it just shows that they don't really take these claims seriously because he throws out some random statistic which just happens to be 99%. Like, okay, try a little harder. We know that 99% of furries are not in it for the sexual aspects, and that's something they deal with quite a lot, is people thinking it's just a fetish, when in reality many furries aren't interested in the sexual side of the fandom at all. Especially as furries become more popular and appeal to a wider and more general audience. The generalizations are killing me. It's almost as if I said everybody at Fox News looks like they're coked out of their minds, when only some of them look like they're coked out of their minds. The fact that they're trying to paint all furries as some sweaty fetishist freaks, while that can apply to some, that's definitely not the majority. Furries are just everyday people. Furries do not have one size, do not have one shape. There is no minimum age or maximum age to be a furry, and you can come as you are. And ultimately, that right there is probably one of the reasons that it is so LGBTQ+ heavy in the furry community.
So will LGBTQIA+ include an F now for furry? Who knows, but imagine where all this is headed.
Hey, Ted, how's the wife, man? Say, I've been wanting to talk to you about that sales pitch you did on Friday. Absolutely great job. But I think we need to have a conversation about some of the newer employees in the office. Honestly, they're giving me the creeps. Whoa, hey, excuse me, where do you think you're going, pervert?
The bathroom.
This is an LGBTQIA, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, nu, xi, omicron, pi, rho, sigma, tau, epsilon, phi, chi, psi, omega, plus bathroom.
What?
It means no women in any part of the building. I'm so sorry you had to see that. Women, am I right?
Oh, yep, the good old misogyny. We love to see it. Like, that was the end of the sketch. They very well did not have to include that, but women, am I right?
I'm a little confused about the furries thing. And look, things that you just quoted, think Pink News. There's like a dead publication that's a website with some people who got to make themselves some money, and they pretend that there's still a cause, and the cause is done. But they're forever trying to continue the hustle. They did it with the trans stuff. Trans has nothing to do with the people who are gay. And this has nothing to do with anyone else. The idea that somebody just happens to be gay now has to be stuck in an alphabet soup with a guy who wants to put on a wolf costume. It's just like, no. But the people who, what they don't realize is these kind of activists. They say the cause they were after is one. The equality thing is there for gay people, but there's just this endless thing, endlessly wanting to add. I mean, they even put what's it, asexuals in this alphabet soup.
They're again trying to push that idea that furries want to have a place in the overall LGBTQ+ community, and they want their own letter in the acronym. The thing is, they're trying to make issues where there aren't issues. They're trying to make furries seem like they're the silliest thing in the world, whether that be immature or over-sexual. And then, by making it related to the LGBTQ community, LGBTQ issues, they're trying to give the whole LGBTQ community illegitimacy.
If there are two groups that have nothing in common, I can tell you, gay men and asexuals. Nothing in common.
They all gay men would just try to turn the asexuals.
What, asexuals go to a bar and talk about how much they don't like sex?
Yes.
No, they just marry me.
Oh! Ow, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was treading on wounds.
Yes, right.
Oh, you're not.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't watch. We're good.
Tyrus, if you, I'm afraid to ask what kind of furry you would be, but do you believe?
Oh, that's easy. Grown-ass man.
Yes.
And I don't fit in any of the costumes, so they can have their little soiree group. I'm not coming, so.
Newsflash to the man in the Rick and Morty hat and the golden belt on his fucking shoulder. Like, what the fuck is that about? They don't want you.
What's another letter, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it all about inclusion and acceptance? And we have to accept all the little letters and ideas and pronouns. Welcome to the game. You guys have to too. So come on in, furries. The creepy water is fine. Go right in there. Put the F in there, you know. Hey, we have to be all accepting in whatever our personal beliefs are or wants or accountability.
You're not, though. This whole segment has been riddled in misogyny, homophobia, and overall themes of othering people that don't necessarily belong in the boxes you want them to.
So shame on you guys. Let the furries in. Just get one of those roller things.
Yes. Hard to go to the bathroom, but maybe that's not a problem for
You know what? You just
Yeah, maybe it's
you just wanted to somehow segue this. Do you want to ask the furry one question?
Yes, how do you
That's
go
the only question. Do you take the furry off to go to the bathroom, or do you leave it on?
You know, Emily, remember that we covered this teacher in Ontario who identifies as a woman, when in fact, they're already mad. And in fact, it's a fetish. She has these giant breasts. It's a fetish. How long before this identity is then, of course, going to be the workplace? Because you identify, it's a fetish. Obviously, this is a fetish. This isn't an identity. But we're now embracing fetishes as identity.
The problem I see is not that, I agree with you. If it was just a few people doing their own thing, of course, who cares? If it was anyone doing their own thing, of course, who cares? The problem that I see is that this has been embraced by the government. Why the hell do you think China and everyone else is flying in our sovereign airspace on our watch? It's because this.
The furries?
No! Yes! Because things like this are what everyone is talking about. Because this is what is of primary importance. To your point, the causes that people are rallying behind, the protests that they're out in the streets about, it's not actually moving the needle with our government. It's not actually moving the needle with corrupt multi-millions or actually having the value of the dollar be somewhat equatable to $1. No, it's stupid stuff like this. And the thing is, the reason it's been embraced by the government as well, it's totally infiltrated all of our intelligence agencies, our defense agencies. All day long, they're sending emails about here's the flag and here's how you can connect and here's how you can support. They're being trained on this woke inclusion, the alphabet soup every day, all day, on anything but protecting our nation, on anything but civics, on anything but the Constitution. So this type of massive distraction, to me, has had real world consequences far beyond just a sliver of the population doing something sort of weird or stupid.
I need to give you an award for your ability to link furries to, like, spy balloons.
100%. I will take it gladly.
Holy mother of fuck, this took a 180. Here it is. As we end the video, let's tie in politics. Let's amp the politics up to 1,000. Everything bad in this country is because of the gays and the furries. And hey, they're fucking united. And that's pretty much it. Anyway, that was a lot of furry bashing from a news organization that is ironically called Fox. But next, we're going to cleanse our palates with another video where the news highlights furries as well in a way more positive light. This news outlet is called... Oh wait, it's also Fox News. A Connecticut outlet of Fox News, Fox 61, did a rather lighthearted and informational segment on furries.
Most people have a hobby. For some, fishing is their thing, or they play sports, read, or maybe cross-stitch. And there are some people that like to dress up in a fox suit and hang out with others who do the same. They're called furries. And for those who are a part of the furry fandom, they say they're largely misunderstood. On a sunny September day at Elizabeth Park, the walkers are smiling, squirrels and ducks are scurrying about, and a fox and hyena are cuddling.
This is something that is an escape from, like, oh, I don't have to go to work today. Maybe I can dress up as an animal.
Jake Bean and Shay Lopez are furries. In their fursuits, they become Sylvester and Ohanu.
It's completely odd, but it's our odd thing, and I love it.
A furry is someone who has a keen interest in and may dress up as anthropomorphic animals.
Oh my god. Oh my god, she can say anthropomorphic. She can say the word.
That is, animals who have human characteristics, like the ability to talk or walk on hind legs.
A lot of people think it's all about dressing up in animal costumes and running around, which is a part of it, but it's a big community of just people who share the similar interest getting together, and it's a huge friend group.
Walking through the park, the couple are very aware of the looks and whispers. They're used to it. The most common reaction from people is, "That's weird."
It is weird, but that's the joy of it. That's the beauty of it. The entire community is embracing that weirdness and just kind of rolling with it.
There are several misconceptions about furries that they'd like to clear up. They say being a furry is not a fetish, and no, they don't really think they're animals, but they do take on the fursona.
Well, Ahanu is a crazy character. I like to say that, we're kind of the same person, and it's more of an act, really. You jump in that character and you just lose yourself amongst the way.
Both say they don't do normal daily activities in the fursuit. Most furry fan activities happen online and at furry conventions, like this one recently at Connecticut, at the Connecticut Convention Center. They also put on the fursuits to raise money for ALS and other charities.
And we've raised over tens of thousands of dollars. So it's absolutely incredible that our community has this sense of charity to it, because everyone should have charity, right?
More than anything, these two want people to know furries are friendly. They're just having fun. Think of it as their own version of Neverland.
It's taking a break from reality for a couple of minutes.
Especially now with the whole situation with the pandemic and everything.
The community is wide open to everyone. If you feel like you need a place to belong, this community will welcome you with open arms. I've made some of the best friends I've ever had through this community.
Now, like with all hobbies, the cost of being a furry can be costly, and it also varies. They start with a few $100s, and they can go up to a couple thousand, and that's just for the head. Almost all of them are custom made to fit the person who owns it. I'm Erica Arias, Fox 61 News.
So not only are they exploring the ironically human side of furries, they're highlighting the good that the community does. And I struggle to see any good that was mentioned in the prior segment. Like, even the fact that they didn't just tell us about furries, but they showed the audience, it's better journalism all around. And mad props to Ahanu and Sylvester, who put themselves out there. If you're wondering the timeline, the first video was from February of 2023, whereas the Fox 61 was September 2021. So both of these are relatively modern segments, and neither one is significantly outdated. When something becomes more popular, it makes sense that it's going to start getting more mainstream news coverage. Now, I may come off incredibly biased in this video, but it's for a reason. I am a live and let live type of person, and I want people to pursue their own happiness. I think furries, and particularly fursuiters, are just trying to chase that happiness. The furry community is not all good though. It does have its bad eggs, but that's just like any other community. It may seem like, as far as the creeps and the bad eggs go, they are kind of, for lack of a better term, a different breed when it comes to the furry community, just because of the nature of the community. But honestly, I see it on par with some of the bad anime fans and like hentai bros. If there were going to be valid critiques of furries, I would rather it be specific and well-informed and well-researched, but that was not this. Additionally, it wasn't like they were just calling out a certain group of furries, they were generalizing the whole community. Not only does it lead to the potential harassment of individuals in the furry fandom, in recent years, there have been multiple bomb and shooting threats that lead to the evacuation of these conventions. As for my final thoughts, as a child of the internet and someone who has been familiar with the concept of furries for well over a decade, it is kind of jarring to see it covered more in mainstream media, whether it be through articles or news segments such as these. Though some approach it with the intention of othering people and with a not so open mind, others are very respectful. As covered earlier, some of the negative attention really stems from the fact that furries are very accepting, and in the social political climate, not only surrounding America, but really globally about LGBTQ issues, it seems like it's really just a tactic to make anybody that doesn't fit in a specific box of normalcy stand out. And not only stand out, but to be subject of ridicule and harassment, to not deserve respect, and in some cases, not deserve rights. Let me ask, who are the real snowflakes? Those who want to live their lives? Or those who judge and discriminate against individuals based on their harmless interests and hobbies?